Alright, everybody. Sorry for joining this one just about a minute late. But this is the qualifying match here in this next qualifier between Clem, our blue Terran top right, and Reynor, our red Zerg bottom left. I'm just double checking this is just best of 3, right? All best of 3, yes. So this is just a best of 3 qualifying match here in this series. This is for the NetEase eSports X Tournaments Winter 2021. It's the European Qualifier, the first of them, so only one of these two will qualify today. Of course, the other will have a good chance to qualify next time around. That will be on Monday, I believe, is the next time that we're going to be seeing the qualifier for the European server, although anyone is allowed to participate in any qualifiers, so they can champion the other regions, but I would imagine these two are likely just to show up to the next European server qualifier. That would be my assumption, at least. So this is just a best of 3. It's Clem versus Reynor, and we didn't really follow this side of the bracket at all, but I don't think there's been any surprises. Reynor went 2-1 against Lambo to make it into this match, while Clem beat Spirit. I don't actually have the scoreline on the Clem Spirit matchup yet, but yeah. Always good when you get a bit. Clem Reynor! Oh, the Reaper gets caught as the Queen comes out and blocks the Reaper in with the Zerglings. That's an amazing little catch there to start this game off. The Queen magic, and Reynor already going to be happy about that. As Clem just starts up a third CC off the one gas. That's going to be his plan for the moment. And away we go into the first map of this best of 3. Link speed coming up, a couple of Queens on the way. Alien on the way out from Clem as well. Just going to be seeing our group spread pushing through the middle of the map at the moment. Just bringing all of this through as the couple of additional Hellions are continuing up. So far, so good. And just waiting to see if anything really substantial comes out of this next, as we obviously just have the early 3cc, right? So for Clem, he doesn't need to do too much pressure. Reynor will have a little counterattack already moving into the natural mineral line and into the main as well. Full scout, and he's going to get a couple SCVs already. So make that 3 SCVs, a full scout as well. Plus he killed the Reaper early. I feel like Reynor's having a fantastic time. He's partying already, guys. He's going to have the time of his life in this game, it feels like. You know when you just get good vibes from the start of a game? I reckon Reynor is absolutely feeling it right now. This is a fantastic start, definitely a good way to get going. As Clem will just go into the Banshee. He has been going a lot more into the Hellion Banshee again lately. So yeah, just going into that kind of Hellion Banshee setup much more frequently. Kind of staying away from some of his faster kind of stim builds with the Liberator. Just wants to be very safe. And I feel like for Clem, a lot of the time, this is how he figures out the new maps. He figures out, okay, I'll go Banshees, I'll be safe. You know, let me get into safe, good positions, and then as I understand the maps better, as I get more used to the map pools, I can understand which corners I can cut, I understand what, you know, what I need to do, and when I can and can't be greedy. But now the Banshees seem like just a catch-22, and I just say this because it was kind of the last time we changed maps. He was also just a very Banshee-heavy player, and that really faded out over time until, you know, we got new maps again, and now it seems to be all the rage once more, so maybe something to do with that, maybe just the way he feels like the meta works right now. Reynor has been going for a lot more kind of melee upgrade first openings and some later layers, which obviously just makes the Banshee better because you don't have an Overseer or anything to help out. So that's definitely a something to look at as well. So it definitely could be just part of how the meta is playing out at the moment as well. Some options. As you see, our Banshee's just chilling. A few Hellions have been moving around nicely so far. The 1-1 upgrades and the Stim Pack all on the way in here at the moment too. It's just getting that ready to go as the Hellions make their way to the right-hand side. There's a few Queens there, which will not really do too much right away. They just kind of get pushed out of that. Almost just kind of hanging back. The Hellions not wanting to commit. No scan for this creep spread either. It's just happy to let it spread for the moment. It's a fairly large map. You will want to deny some of these creep spread avenues at some point, but maybe just wants to do that with the Bio Army, with the Stim Marines, rather than with the Hellions. Especially when there's a lot of creep teamers down there. Sometimes the Hellions don't get all of them, as the Banshees do find their way in for 3 more workers. Again, that's the brilliance of Clem's Banshees. They just find a worker here, a worker there, and it just adds up over time. Boom, 2 more. And look at how little damage he takes on the Banshees. And he just knows that over time, just not taking damage on these Banshees in any meaningful way just adds up to him getting more and more worker kills. This time he messes up a little bit. And again, this is all possible because that lair comes in later for Reynor because he prioritizes the Evolution Chamber upgrades. And if he has a lair, he just has an overseer. These Banshees can't sit between the bases as easily. And it just really restricts their mobility. You can zone them out way better than what you've been able to do here so far, basically. So, yeah, definitely a factor. As I do see our Marines and a couple of Widow Mines making their way into the middle of the map. So they're already going to the center here as Hellions and the 2 Widow Mines going to go a couple different directions. We do have Lings and Queens continuing up, the melee upgrades continuing in. And these Marines are going to get to the edge of creep spread. 1-1 is going to be done on either side shortly. Of course, we're a long way off bailing speed, as Clem has a good amount of time where micro is going to be king. We all know that Clem's micro can absolutely be some of the best in the world, so we're watching out for that as well here over the next little while. As these Marines come through, they clean up a little bit of creep spread. Like I said, didn't scan here earlier, let the kind of creep continue, and he's cleaned it up now. He's just got a few middle mines placed kind of here or there. And as he starts to pull back off creep, he is just going to end up lifting up into the medevacs, and for the moment just deciding to back it up more than anything else. 1 Banshee remains, and it will trade with a Queen there, and that's not really ideal. You're kind of looking for more than that usually, so that Banshee is going to have not the best at times. That's probably going to go down without really having too much further impact in this first map. Clem going into drilling claws. We'll get a 4th base, though. He's got double factory, 4th base coming through. Definitely seeing the importance in a lot of the just macro focus here. And 2nd factory, get drilling claws, get that 4th CC. He knows lately that trying to kill Reynor just off 3 bases and stuff is not as likely to happen, especially on a map like Glittering Ashes. So he's happy to just accept that and just say, okay, then longer game it is. And away we go as our few Marines unload in the main base. A couple of Widow Mines get buried up over here. Somehow doesn't find the bigger connection onto the larger group of Banes. As we do have the Marines in the main base at least. Doesn't even finish the extractor. Wow. This has really been a game so far where it just feels as though Reynor has been having a great game all game long. All of the little things just seem to be going Reynor's way so far. You know, just being able to kind of shut down shut down the Reaper at the very start, and from there on out, keeping a unit alive on low HP, keeping that extractor just alive. The only thing that wasn't amazing for Reynor was absolutely the Banshee damage done. So that was a pretty major part of the game for Clem, and definitely offset some of the smaller things that kind of edge into his favor, as now he's got this push going. Let's see what Reynor's defense looks like. The first few Balins get caught by a Widow Mine, so this first attempt of an attack from Clem is looking good. And there's currently no more Banelings ready. Clem is going to get rid of multiple Banes as they spawn. He target fires the next one. Uh-oh, Reynor, are we just dead? Because our Banelings just got taken down. The Overseer baits the Widow Mine onto the Marines. And that's major damage done. And for no other reason, Clem is going to back away. He takes that damage on the Marines, backs up. Reynor's Overseer is the one reason right now where he is going to be able to push this back, because otherwise this was getting out of hand. He was getting into trouble. Now still drops elsewhere as well, so he was really about to kind of have Clem really just running him in circles, as it might even still be the case. The Widow Mines now are starting to stack up some additional kills. They just need to keep their shots away from the Marines. Reynor actually won a game on this map the other day with an amazing Widow Mine shot that he dragged onto the Marines. It was on the top side of the map. Clem spawned top right, Reynor spawned bottom left. And it was like 15-ish minutes in, and it was like on this, it's like basically right here, and basically the Overseer just dragged a Widow Mine shot on top of these Marines, and 20 supply of Clem died in that instant. And that 20 supply was just, so much damage you just don't bounce back from that, right? That's pretty typical, that's pretty normal. So yeah, Widow Mines have definitely been Reynor's friend on this map recently. That match was in the ESL Open Cup Finals, I believe, from Monday, as our Thor and our Marines and our Widow Mines all pulling back. Good Widow Mine shot initially. Gets rid of a good few Lings. Now the Hydra Bane continuing to try and give chase here. Chasing down this army of Clem. Widow Mine's blowing up for 12 drones, though, across the map. And he's going to get a few more as well in this mineral line. 15 workers killed. Well, Hydras are pushing through, and they will have a bit of momentum to go onwards with. So in they go, and looking to be somewhat okay. Having a good time, and yeah, that's definitely something to keep note of here. That was a substantial push. 15 drones dead, though, is still a sizable number. Reynor has to pause to rebuild those as well, don't forget. also a part of this, making sure you get that economy back up and rolling. Otherwise, you only have, this attack and then you're done for. So, makes a lot of sense. Just kind of take the moment or two that you need as the Bioforce continues to fight. These fuelings going down. And this is the defensive position that Clem needs to hold, and you don't want to be giving up this base. If you give up this base, the follow-up is not good for you. This is a lot of Hydras from Reynor, but not in a good way. It's a lot of Hydras and not much else, which means that you are really just being chased down, and you don't have the numbers to really fight this. As long as Clem gets rid of the Banelings, which he's been doing, now the Hydras get to fight a little bit because the Zerglings are tanking, but the Medivacs will keep healing. Is this enough Hydralisk? Yes, this time around it is, but absolutely needed the aid of everything else there. Otherwise, this was not going to continue going Reynor's way. If he didn't have those Zerglings just to buy a bit of time, this would have been very, very bad for Reynor. And, yeah, he would have been in even more trouble than he perhaps still is, as Clem's army is still pushing down this rare map. We are talking about 185 to 195 supply at the moment. Overall, Clem with a 10 army supply lead, pushing up the ramp, the creep spread going down. A couple of creep teamers out on the edges being picked away, as well as the Bio army shooting away at that. Just going to be seeing down on the south side this Bioforce coming through too. Just going to go for a stim in. Hydras and Banes wanting to begin moving their way forward. We see a couple of Queens being picked off. Link counterattack. Reynor for the first time really this game, right, with a major counterattack. And that's going to be able to cancel a base, and not much else just yet. Clem's still focused up on this fight too, as he's got the tank still holding the line. And again, just so many Hydras that in a good concave can absolutely deal good damage, but it's scary because the moment you just get a little bit too much as the Terran, those Hydras drop quickly. They drop and disappear, and then you are getting into a very good position yourself. So we're playing some dangerous games right now is what I'm trying to say. We are playing some dangerous games where they're back and forth and really slip, in favor of one player more so than the other very quickly. This Widow Mine finally gets the shot on the Banelings, and only a couple will make the mineral line. Enough for a few SCV kills at least, and also a lot of low HP workers. With 13 drones down recently, Clem is at least keeping that economy of Reynor in check, as they have been non-stop at this stage for about 13 minutes. Pretty much the entire game. Our Bio army lifts up, we back away, we kill that base in the center. Reynor has other bases coming up around the map though, so something to watch out for. See how those bases develop here, and see if Clem can also shut those down, or if Reynor will continue to get into that better and better eco. Clem moves to Ghost because Reynor is moving into the Lurkers. And so Clem is going to have a reasonable answer to Reynor's initial Lurkers here in fairly good time. The first few Ghosts coming through, as the Lurkers do already get burrowed up aggressively. Let's see how Clem deals with this, as Reynor goes down in supply a little bit. Counterattack top side, gets a couple SCVs, but okay, that's about it. It's just a Lurker there that will be dealt with soon, I'm sure. Our first Ghosts are here, and they're going to need the scan. They're going to need to start doing something about this, because this is not a position Clem wants to give up too easily at all. If you give up this position, you're losing out on that base, and that's going to be brutal, as we do clean up the Lurker on the top side. While this all happens, this orbital does have to lift off. Again, Clem just unsure about how he's going to deal with this. There's a couple of snipes, but only one of them goes through, and now we get abducts on the two Ghosts. And again, he only had 3 Ghosts so far, so that's 2/3 of your Ghost count suddenly disappearing. That's a major problem, because now you don't have the snipes and the tech that you need to really keep on taking on this Zerg force. Bio army into the center is going to chase the Hydras away, though. The Lurkers don't support this right now. The one Lurker that does burrow up gets scanned immediately, and these next couple are going to get jumped on. No support for them. Gets rid of them, and going to get rid of this one too, so it is going to be a good set of trades from Clem. He does find some value in amongst all this. Definitely something to be said about that as the 6 Lurkers continue through. There's going to be seeing the additional Ling Hydra coming out, the +2 missiles and the +3 Carapace. All coming out as well. Lurkers burrow up on the high ground. Hold positioning, waiting for the right moment. Clem's too committed, and now the Lurkers finally fire. I was building up the moment, Reynor, and I feel like you let me down a little bit, but he felt like that was meant to be much more devastating than it actually was. I'm not going to lie, I felt like that was going to be a major moment, and maybe it still was. Maybe these Lurkers still do come through and just do too much, as Reynor does seem to have Clem on the run for the most part here. Those Lurkers still burrowed up, keeping this planetary at bay. You're going to see a couple of Widow Mines being picked off. I do think we've got ourselves a winning position for Reynor now, finally, after so much continuous action in this first game. It looks like Reynor is finally getting into that point where he's just going to have a little bit too much overall. Great first game, though. I mean, as Clem just kind of holds here, Reynor is going to slowly bring extra lurkers further forward, and again, you just can't really do enough about this right now. It'll be fun to see what Clem bounces back with in the second map, but of course, especially when the momentum is on Reynor's favor, this game is not going to go anywhere. Now, game 2 obviously will be your chance to reset that momentum a bit. But like I say, I feel like this game is very good for Reynor, because even all the little things were just mostly going his way. Apart from the Banshees, as I mentioned once before, everything just kind of was like, Reynor this, Reynor that, oh my god, cool play, oh my god, a little something in Reynor's favor. So yeah, definitely one of those scenarios where maybe Clem gets into that next map and he says, right, let's make sure nothing goes your way to begin with. As Reynor takes down this planetary. I mean, it took a while. Has Clem had the time to kind of build back up off of this? 160 supply for him kind of suggests, like, no, probably not quite going to be enough, as these ghosts do get some snipes. The lurkers get chased away. I'm just going to be seeing these Banes crashing into the little bit of bio here. The lurkers being chased back once again through the center. And, I mean, okay, you're going to lose a couple units here, unit there, but at the end of the day, Clem is still in some serious trouble. The ghost being chased back by the lurker right now as well, as tries to get rid of some of these SCVs. Yeah, I mean, Reynor again just maxed out. He's getting Vipers on the way too, so he's going to be able to utilize those in the very near future, bring those into play. Obviously get some more abducts off and just increase his effectiveness as he goes launching himself at this base on the top side. So this planetary gets fully surrounded. The lurkers are there. The SCVs are dropping. I do believe that, my friends, is probably nigh on game over. I'm just going to stick around until his ghosts go down. I mean, not a bad idea, let's face it. Ghosts can be pretty good, and they can definitely be excellent at bringing a game back into your favor sometimes. I just think this time around it's going to be a little bit too far gone. And Clem is going to agree. Cleans out a couple lurkers, but that will be his last play. GG, well played in game 1. Top left-hand side of the map, taking the first loss of the series, unfortunately, will be our Blue Terran player from Team Liquid. It is Clem. Up against the bottom right-hand side, Red Zone player from Clash. It is Reynor. Just took us a few moments to dive on into this one, guys. A while to get set up. Just heading across the upper left-hand side with our OV. Small map here, Curious Minds. We'll see how it plays out. It's sometimes played in favor of the Zerg for how open the map can be, but the size of the map will always favor the Terran. Reynor just straight up pauses and doesn't say a thing, which is a little bit unusual, so hopefully everything is okay. Almost a disaster, says Reynor. Yeah, I mean, like I say, usually that's a little bit weird. But I hope we get more of an update than just almost disaster. We good? Ready? That's it? But what was the almost disaster though? Huh. Oh, now Clem's having a disaster, apparently. Clem heard there was almost a disaster, so he was like, okay, well, I'll take this as a toilet break. Alright, away we go. A little bit of an extended pause right there. Seeing our Overlord head to the upper left-hand side. Couple drones coming through. Barracks is on the way, and as I was saying, shorter map. Definitely one where Clem can maybe get his momentum rolling and go on from there and just get set up as you have a barracks going through the front, hatch gas and spawning pool all coming down. A couple of additional drones on the way. Just seeing this Overlord of Reynor continuing up to the top left-hand side. I know, I'm not very excited to just follow an Overlord all the time, so let's follow this SCV. It's going to scout. Make sure this is a hatchery first and not a pool first, so that your Reaper can move across the map safely without being in too much fear of a counterattack. So yeah, that's what the SCV's job is, and it will move forward to do just that. Sees the hatchery first. Says, cool, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that timing. And now pulls itself back along up to the top side. Factory is on the way up then from Clem, as we see the SCV up into the natural. CC is building, couple of queens on the way through. So far so good to just get the reactor coming up in the barracks, and the circling speed also underway, so just getting that link speed going. And drop another command center in there, so that's going to be a third CC. Alpha 1 gas once again, so Clem really liking the 3cc 1 gas recently. Paper around the right, and just going to be seeing the Overlord kind of keeping a little eye on that as well. And as that link speed comes through, this Queen gets there, the Reaper gets pushed away. And just going to be seeing the Feelings and the Queen continuing through to push that Reaper back. Now there's a second barrack, so there's a switch up. Not going to be seeing Cloak Banshees this time, but a little bit of a bio play. They finished on this map, I believe. It was Game 5 of the ESL Open Cup match, which was the most recent one they played. Clem got very aggressive down this left side, had a good time, and eventually was able to lift up and drop in the main where he got the spawning pool. Basically dropped from here to here, killed the spawning pool, and won the game off the back of his opponent just not really being able to do much else. Queen and Lings coming around, a couple of Hellions and a Reaper. Back around into the bottom center side. And Stim going through, the starport coming up, so getting ourselves ready for the 2 medevac drop in the future. As for the moment, a couple of Hellions will just back away up to the top left. Things run in, and a few SCVs are just going to start going down immediately. I mean, there's a great counterattack already, just for the sake of 7 SCVs, and now you're going to surround the Hellions too, and more Lings are showing up. Oh my goodness. Reynor's got even more Lings coming across the map as well. This is backfiring big time for Clem, because he doesn't have any more Hellions on the way, so what do you do here? This game just ends. All of these Lings just keep on flooding through, and that's going to be it. Oh no, the orbital's forced to lift. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. It's the perfect build for what Clem is doing, because, again, there's only 2 Hellions. So there's only Marines after that, and if you can then have enough Lings to grab those Hellions, well then you're going to have a fantastic time. And that's more or less what happened here. As those Lings will settle on the natural, and Clem looks as though he might just be down and out quickly in this second game. He will still have a counterattack of Marines in the medevac. I mean, he will not have too much though, because he's lost economy. He obviously has 3 CCs to build back up off of, but Reynor's droned already. He's going to be on 55 work as soon as he takes a Baneling Nest as well. And he can start his Carapace upgrade on the back of this lair as well. And once he gets that Carapace upgrade going, we know that that typically goes fairly well for you. Lings nibbling up then, the Baneling Nest and the lair coming through. A couple of Overlords on the way out. This little group of Zerglings from Reynor back into the center. Combat shields coming through, and again, Hellions and a few extra Marines all building. As Clem gets settled down to chase these Lings out through the center of the map. So you can see our Lings coming back up here and going to be able to grab 1 SCV, make that a second SCV, so 2 SCVs already going down. And, well, it just feels rough, right? Like, anytime you want to try and move across the map right now, Reynor is just counterattacking. Finally, you get a full wall off, but that's not exactly going too well for you either. Is just going to be seeing these couple of medevacs are going to be unloading on the tower, but already caught. Again, your 25 workers down right now as Clem. Your opponent's on his way up to Bane speed, the upgrade lead. It's a difficult position to try and draw yourself back into. The Marines want to stim forward, and they're going to grab 1 creep team already, and now we're just going to be seeing the Queens setting up to hit a few Marines and push those back again. And this well controlled. As the medevacs are now going to make their way down the bottom side. They want to try and unload, but there's already Lings in the main. Reynor He's playing a stellar defense because he knows that all he has to do. Just keep on defending. He's going to be in a position to win the series out and qualify the next. Will not have to play in another of these qualifiers, which is always nice. Just a pressure off your mind. Marines coming through. Queen's taking some damage. Some sizable damage at that, as we do see the medevacs in the end lifting up and backing away. And Carapace upgrade about to be done. The 1-1 still coming through from Clem. And Marines unloading here, and need to lift. Yeah, make sure you don't mess that one up, otherwise that would have been a problem. As more Marines and Hellions continuing down to the bottom side of the map. Extra Banelings just morphing in. The Ling Bane coming through on that bottom side. Our Marines and our Hellions going for this push now. I mean, Ling's already setting up a counter onto the third base, which is defended by a lone Widow Mine that's going to go off on just 2 Lings initially. And now you've got to pull away with everything else. Reynor still has the units to come through to defend over here. Clem is pulling back to deal with this, but Reynor can just turn this into a 2-sided attack. And, yep, Clem has no option but to lift up, and 1 Widow Mine does okay. Not really good enough. That Widow Mine's going to do a lot better. I mean, that was an incredible Widow Mine, but you don't even get the depot raised. Is running into this position a little bit too much from Reynor. It's definitely not super pretty. He's losing a good amount. He's now got his Banelings blocked by Lings, taking down the depot to gain access. He kills the natural command center, though. For a moment, it felt like Reynor, with that big Widow Mine doing so much, was maybe going to run out of units there. Not the case. GG's, and that is going to be our series going to Reynor, and he will qualify for the NetEase Winter event.